What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So wouldn't you know it, we're a little more than a week out from early access for Microsoft's big-time release, and well, it gets hit with a major leak. And this one we're going to discuss, but we're not going to go in-depth on any spoilers, just really what exactly happened here. Also, we are going to be talking about Gamescom opening night live and a ton of different updates and release dates for different games. And we'll also be taking a look at a brand new console that's been announced. Well, kind of new. This, though, is actually a revival of a system from the 80s. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. We're going to start today with Monolith Soft and the Xenoblade franchise. Of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out, was very good. Then it got the big DLC for it, Future Redeemed, and now people are wondering what could be next for Takashi and Monolith Soft overall. Well, it appears we got a bit of a hint maybe towards the future of the franchise, and we can see this posted up over on Nintendo Life, and it's a transcription from the soundtrack, like limited edition soundtrack that had a booklet inside. This was translated from Japanese, saying, rather than playing on defense, going on the offense, change rather than maintain. This is a stance that I have continued to hold for 30 years. If there is another Xenoblade, it will likely be something vastly different from what came before in style and in music. I would like to make my next goal something that will betray everyone's expectations in a good way. So people have been wondering what exactly this could mean. Could they maybe do something completely different for the battle system or the gameplay? And yeah, it's possible. I feel like if they did something completely different from Xenoblade, like keep the Xeno name but have some other, obviously, word attached to it, then you would probably change up the gameplay style and all of this. But if it's not the Xenoblade, I feel like they would still build on that MMORPG-like battle system, but that is something I'm very curious as to what's next for Monolith Soft, because they're very good at getting a lot out of this hardware with the Switch. What can they do with Nintendo's next platform that we assume will be more powerful? Also, in the strange saga that is the Metal Gear Solid Collection resolution and frame rate, we have another update, and this is just clarification from Konami to VGC once again around what targets we can expect from these different games, and we can see this over on VGC. They lay it out, it's pretty straightforward. All platforms except the Switch, 1080p, 60 frames per second, so that being a PlayStation, Xbox, on a PC. Switch docked mode, 1080p, 30 frames per second. Switch handheld mode, 720p, 30 frames per second. That makes sense for Switch docked and handheld. Those would be like the native resolutions that we expect normally from it. The other platforms, though, at 1080p, a bit of a head scratcher. You feel like they would have pushed it up to 4K. I mean, we've even seen like Red Dead Redemption, which is a port that got crushed online. That at least got to 4K. Again, the 30 frames per second thing is still odd to me when it comes to the Switch, because you figure it would be able to do 60 frames for titles from the PS2, but I guess for some reason they've opted for 30 frames per second. And even then, there were discussions around there being drops during the preview events and stuff. So we need to have these games come out, this collection, and let Digital Foundry go hands-on to see exactly what we have here. Oh, and with Gamescom opening night live, with Jeff Keighley now in the rearview mirror, of course, we're looking towards the Game Awards in December, and we had the official announcement kind of ending opening night live, which we can see this posted up over on Twitter, where they say it's official. Game Awards is back live Thursday, December 7th at the Peacock Theater in LA, celebrating 10 years. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years of the Game Awards, but here we are. I wonder if they're going to have some big like musical presentation and stuff celebrating the decade-long run of the show. But as expected, and as something we've gotten used to, again, this is the 10th year, we will have the Game Awards in December, and I'm curious to see what big reveals we'll have there, and what will take home the big prize for Game of the Year. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Starfield and a major leak that's now hit Xbox, Microsoft, and Bethesda. Now, any footage you see during this segment will probably just be footage taken from the big presentation that they did over the summer, showing off like 40 minutes of gameplay and stuff for Starfield. I'm not gonna show any of the stuff that was put out there, mostly because it's already being pulled down pretty much consistently as it's reposted by ZeniMax and Bethesda, and so it's not even worth messing with any of that, obviously. But in this case, there were some legitimate spoilers in there because it covered the first 45 minutes or so of the game. Nonetheless, people were checking it out, and I also took a look myself just to make sure it was legitimate. And yeah, a person is in fact posting up video footage of different elements of gameplay, character creation, and so on. So what appears to have happened is the Constellation Edition got out there early. Someone got the physical copy and started loading up and playing the game. And the thing that was interesting about this is they took video of the screen with their phone. So the quality that, if you see people talking about the screenshots and how this game looks from that footage, it's not going to look good because it's not directly captured from the system. So that's one big thing to throw out there. And two, it seems to be kind of slow going, as you'd expect for the beginning of a Bethesda game, as it kind of sets things up, of course, for your character, which you have to build out in the first place. And then it kind of eases you into the world before it hits you with that big aha moment, whether you're coming out of the vault in a Fallout game or you step out of the dungeon or something into the world in Oblivion or Skyrim. But I really wanted to bring this up because this is a game where spoilers are going to be paramount. Like, this is a game that can absolutely be ruined for you if you just stumble across a spoiler or something going on. And the other part is there's going to be so many different paths in this game, there's just going to be a lot to spoil, let alone the ending. If you have all these different subquests that can go on for 5, 10 hours even, to have that spoiled for you would be pretty annoying. It's just a game that is completely covered in lore all over the place. So I wanted to bring that to your attention that yes, it appears to have leaked out, and yes, the person who has the copy has already mentioned that they are going to be uploading more and more footage of it, just higher quality. I guess they're going to pick up an Elgato at Best Buy or something. I don't know there, but this has been brought up a number of times by different studio heads and developers that, yeah, when we get to a point where there are no physical copies of games and it's all controlled by a server that just has a switch flipped and then you can access it, they won't be dealing with these kind of leaks really anymore. But there you have it. Yes, Starfield, it's out there. Be careful. We still have another week or so until early access, and then after that, another 5 days before the game comes out. It's going to be tough. Next up, let's talk about Gamescom Opening Night Live. This was the show, of course, with Jeff Keighley kicking off Gamescom, and it did go on for roughly 2 hours, and it was exactly what he said it would be, which was mostly updates on games that we already knew about. So there wasn't any massive, explosive announcements for games we've never seen. There were a few fun, like brand new world premiere announcements, but still nothing too crazy to write home about. Still, we got release dates and we got looks at different games, and we'll start from the top here with Starfield. In fact, that's what kicked the whole show off, a musical number into a live action trailer, kind of kicking off a bit more of the marketing cycle. Remember, that was a big talking point. Is Starfield being pushed enough by Microsoft and Bethesda? Well, here's a live action trailer that kicked off Gamescom Opening Night Live. So yeah, it seems like marketing is in full swing right now. And then a random person showed up next to Jeff Keighley on stage and started talking about GTA 6. So Jeff probably needs to work on getting better security, or just like angrier security. There needs to be a lot of intimidation for walking up on that stage. So yeah, that's something Jeff's going to be dealing with, I feel like, after we had the situation at Game Awards last year, and now this. I don't know, I guess it's a joke or it's becoming popular to do this, but not good, because at some point, someone may show up with the idea of this, but have bad intentions, and it's a dangerous situation. So hopefully Jeff can get this all worked out when it comes to security and just keeping random people off stage. Then we had Little Nightmares 3, really cool announcement that's coming 2024. Black Myth Wukong, this got a new trailer with gameplay and all this. We've been seeing this game for a long time, and it is leaning heavily into like the Souls aspect, which is tough after Elden Ring. So no release date, nothing like that yet. Just I guess we'll see more as we go along into 2024. Killing Floor 3. This was a pretty cool announcement. No release date or anything. It's just wish list on Steam. I liked Killing Floor 1. I didn't really get into Killing Floor 2. I'm interested in Killing Floor 3. I'll keep an eye on this one. Age of Empires 4. This got a surprise release into Xbox Game Pass. You can check it out right now, actually. So pretty cool. They apparently have an entire new tutorial set up specifically to get you used to the controller setup. Because remember, they have to adapt that to controller, which is kind of awkward for real-time strategy games. Crimson Desert got a new gameplay trailer, and this game looks very, very ambitious, I guess would be the word. They had a lot going on in this trailer, and they were pulling from all different franchises. A little bit of Assassin's Creed in there. There was some Tears of the Kingdom stuff happening. People were mentioning Dragon's Dogma. It's a lot happening. So, I mean, it looks good from the trailer they showed, but we'll see as they show more and get closer to its release. Payday 3, that is out next month, going directly into Game Pass. They had Ice-T show off, I guess, a specific heist that he's part of there. I'll be checking out Payday 3 when it drops because I did like Payday 2, but it's has not aged very well with its gameplay mechanics is what I'll say. Assassin's Creed Mirage, another trailer here. This is coming up, of course, October 5th. Looking forward to that. Zack Snyder showed up with what else but I guess a movie trailer for Rebel Moon, and then briefly mentioned there's a game in the works to go along with it. All right. Tekken, it's coming out January 26, 2024, pretty cool, but it did miss out on the 2023 release. I thought it'd be really fun to have one year where there is Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, and Tekken 8 all going head to head in the Fighting Game of the Year award. But either way, fun way to kick off 2024 for Tekken fans. Look out for Tekken 8, January 26. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, full gameplay trailer. Sounds like they're making an attempt at being more open-ended with some of the levels. And they mentioned like an open world zombie mode. So that sounds kind of cool. Nightingale got a new trailer, early access, February 22nd. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink finally got the release date for this one. It is coming out, though, in 2024. Originally, we're looking at 2023. This, though, February 1st. Immortals of Avium, that is out now. They had a trailer just to remind everyone. Zenless Zone Zero. It's a sci-fi action game from the Genshin Impact team. And then Honkai Star Rail. It is still coming to PS5 in Q4 2023, so in the next couple of months. And apparently they're doing a technical test recruitment that starts now. So I guess you can try it in like a closed beta they're doing. Sonic Superstars got the release date we were expecting of October 17th. It's also a separate online battle mode that they showed off here. And then Sonic Frontiers, Final Horizon update, new story, new playable characters, challenges, and Supersonic. That's coming later this year. Let's see. Then we had Fort Solace. That is out now. You can check that out. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. That is 2024. The Crew Motorfest, September 14th. There is a free trial that will allow you to play the first 5 hours of the game. Cyberpunk 2077, they had the expansion trailer there. That's still coming September 26th. Then we had a Stormgate trailer. Last Epoch, that one is September 7th. Marvel Snap. It's available now on Steam. So if you don't want to play it on your phones, it's fine. You can check it out there on the PC. Armored Core 6, that got a new trailer. That is, of course, out Friday. This is more of an ad spot than anything else, as we'll probably see reviews going live today for it. Warhaven, you can play for free. That's September 21st. Mortal Kombat 1. So they've been doing these Mortal Kombat 1 trailers as we've gone along, of course, continue keeping the hype until release, and they keep showing different characters. In this case, we had Sindel, Raiden, and General Shao. So I guess not to be confused with Shao Kahn, but the game looks brutal. Sindel had an X-ray attack that I'm sure left a lot of people cringing a bit there. So hey, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 1. Not too much longer, of course, coming out in September. Then we had Aura History Untold. That's 2024. Diablo 4 Season of Blood, October 17th. Dustborn, that's early 2024. Thank Goodness You're Here, that's also 2024. And then Alan Wake 2 trailer. This also showed the new release date of October 27th, and it still looks really good. So I'm looking forward to Alan Wake 2. I understand it was very crowded where it was originally, like 10 days before that or so. Probably not a bad idea to move it to the end of October just because the game looks really good, and it would be a shame if it just got crowded out with everything else releasing. And overall, looking back at opening night live, it was exactly what Jeff Keighley told us it would be, which I guess I'll have to give him credit there. He didn't try to overhype this event. It was indeed games we already knew about, but they got longer looks at them with gameplay and in some cases, release dates. Yeah, there were a few fun brand new announcements. Little Nightmares 3 and Killing Floor 3 come to mind, but it's one that people are going to look at as that ho-hum, middle of the road, 7 out of 10 kind of showcase, but it did what it was supposed to do, and that's get more information out there for games that we knew about. So not bad, not great, somewhere in the middle. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about a brand new-ish game console that's been announced, as it appears that PlayOn is reviving the Atari 2600, and it's called the Atari 2600 Plus. a lot of creativity there, I know, but it plays into the idea that this is that same Atari 2600, just updated and modernized for current TVs, because it will actually still play your Atari 2600 and even 7800 cartridges. But you could see the trailer here, and it does show off the system in full, where you have USB-C ports even on the back, and you'll notice the very familiar looking ports. It uses the same controllers, or of course you can use the brand new ones that they are releasing. And it is coming out November 17th for $130. So it's not outlandishly expensive or anything like that. And yes, it plays into the nostalgia side of things. It also comes with a 10-in-1 game cartridge, so you at least get 10 games for it. And it appears they'll be releasing brand new Atari 2600 games, some of them being 4-in-1, some of them being single games, but they'll come like fully decked out in the cardboard box and all this. And yes, I know this is kind of that novelty thing, and it's not a plug and play device. It is interesting that it's going to use cartridges. It's also using a Rockchip 3128 SoC, which that's about what you need for Atari. I mean, what do you really need for Atari games? Not a lot. And it being a low power quad core chip, yeah, that's going to enable it to be produced cheap, which coming in at $130, just based on current parts and inflation and stuff we've been going through, that's actually not too bad. And I like that they didn't try to reinvent the entire system. It's like 80% scale, so yeah, it's a little smaller, but for the most part, it looks just like the Atari 2600, again, with the USB-C ports and a few extra things thrown in. It's a novelty, really. Like, I don't think this is going to explode and sell 10 or 15 million systems or something. I think this is just something PlayOn's doing just to see the reception to it, and if there's, I guess, still a market for the Atari brand in general. I mean, you're going to go back to the well for the 2600 because it was like the most popular thing for Atari, and who knows, maybe one day you'll be walking through Walmart or Best Buy and you'll see one of these on the shelves and you'll pick it up as that impulse buy to remember the fonder days. But let me know what you think about this Atari 2600 Plus, because it certainly caught me off guard, bit of a surprise there, but I think it'd be kind of fun to check out. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, give Gamescom Opening Night Live 2023 a grade. Yeah, that's about right. C got 51%. Hey, B got 20%. So, all right, that's not too bad. Along with A, that means that 77% of people thought it was satisfactory or above, 10% on D, and then 12% on F. Yeah, as an average event, it was one that provided plenty of information, but not a lot of surprises or hard-hitting reveals. And again, that's exactly what Jeff Keighley told us it was going to be. We'll see how he treats the Game Awards coming up, because it does feel like Gamescom is just in kind of this awkward time for trying to do a big event like this, because we would normally have, E3 over the summer, which we don't have now, but these companies will still try to do some sort of big event in that June timeframe, and then the Game Awards at the end of the year. So Gamescom is directly in the middle, and it's more or less where you're going to buy ad spots or you're going to show a bit more information about games we already know about that are launching for the holiday. But yeah, tough spot for Gamescom, so that's why I don't really expect a ton out of it when we do get into the month of August. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Cap, who says, kind of sad how every time something like this happens, there's people hoping for drama behind the scenes. We don't know what made Nintendo and Charles make this decision, but doesn't seem to be any bad blood, and not everything needs to. It's time to celebrate Charles' works. This man was part of so many generations of gamers. Best of luck on his next chapter, and best of luck to the new guy. We're clearly in good hands. So yeah, that was kind of weird, because people look at that and say, oh, maybe Charles was fired. I don't believe that'd be the case, because a number of reasons, really. One, Charles is getting a little older. Maybe he wants to retire and just kind of enjoy, retirement. Sure. But also, when he was at like too many games, and generally when he makes the rounds, he uses a lot of Nintendo's intellectual properties and artwork and stuff of Mario and Luigi and Bowser, all these characters. And the fact that Nintendo already has a different voice actor for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, this wasn't a decision that was made that day. It's probably a while ago, right? So they were figuring this out as they got closer and closer to the Mario Bros. Wonder release, and they wanted to get this info out there now ahead of the release because, well, the credits were going to get published, so people would find out one way or the other, and this way Nintendo can kind of explain it alongside of Charles Martinet. But as I mentioned, he's making the rounds, and too many games. He's doing a lot of autographs and signings, and he's doing pretty well for himself. And Nintendo seemed to have no problem with him using Mario and all these other things. So I think he's gonna be pretty happy being a Mario ambassador. Just a wild guess there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here. Today was Starfield, of course, leaking out early with a Constellation physical copy getting out there and having stuff posted up. What's the plan? Are you gonna try to avoid everything, or are you somebody who just goes looking for all the leaks you can find? And also, what about opening night live? What was your grade for it? What was your favorite announcement? And then the Atari 2600 Plus. Are you picking one up? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.